All right. Hey everybody. You've probably clicked on this video because you have some form of pain, suffering, restriction in your field of experiencing of life that you have probably tried to resolve and fix and get rid of over quite some time, only to find out that none of these things that you've been doing seems to work properly or only works in the short term. Whether it is stretching for pain relief or getting a massage to get rid of that nagging, recurring neck pain, or whether you have some lower back pain and you've seen a chiropractor. What I'm offering you in this video is a perspective shift, or rather a consideration to make when it comes to approaching yourself and your own healing and your own rebalancing. And that consideration is that it is less about what it is that you're doing and more about how you're doing it. So we could take the example of a glass of water. Let's say you're very dehydrated and thirsty and you could really have a drink. So that first cup of water that you're gonna drink is probably one of the most delicious things that you've had in a while, and you just drink it in one go and you're like, oh my god, that was awesome, I could have more. So you go and drink the second cup and it's like, okay, I'm saturated. Now let's keep playing the game and let's see if that same water that you just drank that hydrated you, how would that taste after you've had 7 or 8 or 9 cups? You would probably get quite nauseous and you would probably be absolutely full of it and sick of it and maybe even vomit it out. So it is less about the water and the hydrating quality of the water, and it's much more about the dosage of the water and the moment in which you drink the water and in which you allow to receive the water and the way you receive the water. Let's say you are very greedy and you immediately drink 1 or 2 liters and you feel sick afterwards. That's probably not as beneficial for the body as it could be. So if you have any pains and movement limitations and restrictions, and you try to bombard your body and yourself with solutions to a perceived problem, maybe it's a really great first step to not see it as a problem in the first place and just invite some compassion into your situation and see, oh, okay, this is my body, and let's say I've got this neck pain that hasn't been going away. There's a valid and solid reason for your body to have put some pain into that area. And that reason can range all the way from biomechanical structural imbalances in the way that you move your body throughout the day, all the way over to dietary and psychological choices that you've made that negatively impact your body's ability to adapt to its environment. It could be past trauma. There's many things to consider when looking at the pain inside of your body, but the number one thing is to start cultivating a loving and compassionate perspective towards yourself that is much more beneficial and a much more potent starting point when you are healing yourself than looking at yourself as if you are the problem or as if this thing is a problem that needs to be fixed and eliminated. Because when you have that perspective of fixing and eliminating a problem on yourself, then essentially everything that you go and do, let it be the stretches, the corrective exercises, or receiving the massage therapy, all of these things you will execute in a way in which your subconscious and your body will receive it as an attack. Essentially, you want to eliminate something off of yourself, and it's totally reasonable. I fully understand it. I've had many years of strong, excruciating pain in which I try to push and overstretch myself to a degree just to get rid of something in my field of experiencing. But it wasn't until I finally realized and embodied a more open and receptive state towards life itself and say, all right, I don't actually have to micromanage any of these things here. The sun comes up and down, the trees, they grow and die, and so do the animals fly around, and so does my body do everything for me. It digests, it regenerates cells, it grows hair, it grows the nails. I'm not consciously controlling any of these things. My body is actually perfectly capable of finding and cultivating some form of balance. The only thing that might come in between the success of my body finding balance is myself and my own, let's say, destructive approach towards self-healing. Having to fix, having to get rid, having to solve, having to resolve. There's a lot of pressure and struggle in that. So please consider dropping that perspective and taking on a more loving perspective towards yourself and seeing how much the body is actually doing for you every single second, every single moment. Your body is showing up for you, digesting, healing, restoring, rejuvenating, all without you having to do anything. So please, start there and use that as your starting point.